Beloved soul, let me ask you a question that may change the course of your destiny forever. What would your life look like if you suddenly discovered that the key to all abundance, all success, all healing, all prosperity was not outside you but within you, already placed in your heart by the infinite mind before the foundation of the world? Would you dare to believe that you are heir to the riches of heaven? Would you allow yourself to awaken to the truth that limitation, lack, fear, and poverty are but shadows, illusions of the carnal mind, and that the radiant light of divine supply has been waiting all along for you to claim it? This, dear listener, is the truth of your being. You are the image and likeness of God, and infinite riches are within your subconscious mind. As Paul declared, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans chapter 12:2. Today we begin a holy journey together, a journey into the depths of the subconscious, the laws of spirit, the principles of abundance. And if your heart is ready, if your soul is open, you will discover that wealth, health, joy, love, and radiant success are yours by divine right. Now open your heart, still your mind, and walk with me into the promised land of the subconscious. All transformation begins within. The world you see without is but a reflection of the images impressed upon your subconscious mind. Change the inner pattern, and the outer world must conform. This is the divine law, and it cannot fail. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. These words are not mere poetry, they are the eternal key to all manifestation. The heart in Scripture is the subconscious mind, the hidden workshop of creation. Whatever you truly feel and believe in your subconscious becomes flesh, becomes form, becomes your lived reality. You are not a beggar at the gates of life pleading for scraps of fortune. You are the beloved child of the infinite, and it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:32. The riches of heaven, ideas, inspirations, opportunities, wealth, love, harmony are already yours. They flow into your world when you align your conscious thought with the divine seed planted in your subconscious. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy." This is the unfailing principle. What you send forth in thought and feeling returns to you in experience. If you radiate fear, you will reap circumstances of fear. If you radiate abundance, you will reap opportunities, wealth, and prosperity. Neville Goddard, a mystic of great insight, spoke of the power of imagination as the Christ within. He declared, "Imagination creates reality. What you vividly imagine and feel as true sinks into your subconscious and projects itself on the screen of space." Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich, echoed the same principle. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. You see, dear friend, all these voices point to the same eternal law, the law of belief. According to your faith be it unto you. Matthew 9:29. Your faith is simply your mental attitude, your acceptance of a truth, your inner conviction. Whatever you accept as true in the depths of your being must come to pass. Consider a simple example. A woman once came to me who lived in constant fear of poverty. Though she worked diligently, her words and thoughts were filled with complaint. Money is scarce. I never have enough. I fear the bills that come each month. These words and emotions repeated daily sank into her subconscious, and her life faithfully reflected them. Scarcity, bills, constant lack. I instructed her to reverse the pattern. 3 times a day she affirmed with deep feeling, "God is my instant everlasting supply. I am divinely prospered in all ways. Infinite riches flow to me freely, joyously, endlessly." She imagined receiving checks in the mail, unexpected income, abundance of every kind. Within 3 months, new streams of income opened to her, debts were cleared, and she lived in the consciousness of supply. Her world changed because her mind changed. Carl Jung observed that, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This is precisely the work we are doing here. Fate is nothing more than subconscious belief made manifest. Transform the belief, and you transform the fate. Therefore, do not work against conditions. Do not wrestle with circumstances. The only place you must labor is within your own mind. As the Christ declared, the kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. When you establish wealth consciousness within, wealth must appear without. Let me ask you, what images are you impressing upon your subconscious each day? Do you dwell on debts, fears, limitations, and so invite them to multiply? Or do you meditate on abundance, supply, divine guidance, and allow them to blossom in your world? Your mind is the fertile soil, and your thoughts are the seeds. Plant wisely. There is no virtue in poverty. Poverty is not holiness, it is ignorance of the law. Abundance is your birthright, for you are one with the infinite source. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Psalm 24:1. To live in lack is to deny your divine inheritance. Imagine a prince who, though heir to a vast kingdom, wanders the streets as a beggar because he has forgotten his royal birth. This is the tragedy of man. Though child of the infinite, he lives as if cut off from supply. But when he awakens, when he remembers, when he dares to claim his royal estate, then the treasures of heaven flow into his hands. You must live from the end, feel the wish fulfilled, act as though you already possess the wealth you desire. This is not pretense, it is faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11, chapter 1. Substance means reality. Your inner conviction is the reality. The outer form will follow. Do not say, I will be wealthy someday. That day never comes. Declare now, I am wealthy, I am prosperous, infinite riches flow to me freely. The subconscious accepts what you impress upon it in the present moment. Speak as if you already have it, and you will. I recall a young man in Los Angeles who longed to become a successful architect. He had no clients, little money, and no reputation. Yet every night before sleep, he imagined walking into beautiful buildings and hearing people praise his designs. He saw blueprints stamped with his name. He felt the joy of accomplishment. Within a year, opportunities opened, contracts came, and he established himself as one of the finest architects in the city. His imagination created his reality. Florence Shinn would often remind her students, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. If you cannot see yourself wealthy in mind, you cannot become wealthy in life. The inner image precedes the outer fact. Therefore, still your mind, quiet your doubts, and begin to picture yourself in possession of the riches you desire. Picture it clearly, vividly, with joy and gratitude. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret. When you feel it as real, your subconscious acts upon it, and circumstances, people, opportunities move into place to make it so. Let no one tell you that you must struggle endlessly to earn your bread. Struggle is a belief, and belief creates experience. Replace the belief in struggle with the belief in divine supply. Work, yes, but let your work be joyous, inspired, guided by intuition. You are not a slave to toil, you are a channel of infinite intelligence. Remember the words of Jesus, consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin, and yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Matthew 6:28-29. The lily grows effortlessly because it abides in its true nature. So too, when you abide in the consciousness of divine supply, your good comes naturally, without strain. This is the great secret. Wealth is not acquired. It is released. It is already within you, waiting for recognition. When you affirm wealth, visualize wealth, feel wealth, you are releasing the divine riches already planted in your subconscious. Do you not see? The treasure is in your own house. The pearl of great price is in your own mind. The kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. Matthew 13:44. The field is your subconscious. The treasure is the divine power within. Therefore renew your mind. Cast out every thought of lack, fear, poverty, unworthiness. Replace them with thoughts of abundance, faith, joy, confidence. Affirm daily, I am one with the infinite source. Wealth flows to me freely, joyously, endlessly. I am prosperous in all my ways. I give thanks for the riches of the universe, which are mine now. Repeat these affirmations morning and night, and feel them with conviction. Let them sink deep into your subconscious. Do this faithfully, and the outer results will astonish you. Never say, I cannot afford it. Such words cut off supply. Instead say, the wealth of the infinite is mine. I accept it now. Your words are creative. By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. Matthew 12:37. Your mind is a magnet. Whatever you dwell upon with emotion you attract. Dwell upon debts, and you attract more debts. Dwell upon abundance, and you attract abundance. Choose this day whom you will serve, the God of lack or the God of supply. Beloved soul, wealth is not a distant dream. It is a present reality. Awaken to it now. Claim it with boldness. Affirm it with joy. Feel it with certainty, and it shall be yours, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is the first great step, to recognize the infinite power within your subconscious mind and to direct it with faith, imagination, and love. From this flows all prosperity, all healing, all success. And let this truth echo in your heart as you close your eyes tonight. Infinite riches are within me. I call them forth now. I am divinely supplied, guided, and prospered in all my ways. I live in the joyous abundance of God. For this is the truth of your being, and nothing can deny it but your own unbelief. Awaken, therefore, and be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Faith is the golden key. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the unseen realm of spirit and the tangible realm of matter. Without faith, your prayers are empty words, your affirmations lifeless echoes. With faith, every word is power, every thought a seed of destiny, every imagination a decree that must come to pass. According to your faith be it unto you. Matthew chapter 9:29. These are not idle words, but a law as sure as gravity. Your faith is not a vague hope, nor a timid wish. Faith is your inner conviction, your knowing, your quiet certainty that what you have asked for is already yours. Faith is seeing with the eyes of the Spirit, feeling with the heart of God. When you pray for wealth, do not pray as a beggar hoping for crumbs. Pray as a child of the infinite, knowing your Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Psalm 50:10. Pray as an heir to the kingdom, confident that all things are yours. 1 Corinthians 3:21. True prayer is not pleading, it is claiming. It is not begging, it is accepting. You do not beg the sun to shine, you open the curtains. You do not plead for electricity to flow. You flip the switch. So too, you do not beg God for wealth. You align with the divine current of abundance already flowing through your subconscious mind. Neville Goddard called this the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He taught that to pray is to enter into the state of already having, already being, already possessing the desired good. And when you dwell in that state, your subconscious accepts it as fact and brings it forth. Faith is not struggling to believe. Faith is resting in the knowing that it is done. Imagine a seed planted in the earth. Do you dig it up every day to check its progress? No, you trust the law of growth. You water it, you give it light, you protect it from weeds, but you trust that the seed knows how to unfold. So too with your desires. Plant them in the subconscious through faith and imagination. Water them with gratitude and trust the divine law to bring them to fruition. Napoleon Hill observed that faith is the only known antidote for failure. He declared that every great fortune was built first upon an intangible idea, and that faith gave that idea substance, direction, and power. He understood that riches are first born in the imagination, then clothed in faith, and finally expressed in form. Let me tell you of a man who came to me years ago, weary, anxious, struggling in business. He said, "Dr. Murphy, I have tried everything. I work long hours, I strive, I struggle, yet money slips through my fingers. I cannot seem to get ahead." I replied, "You are working against yourself. You are working against the law. Stop struggling with conditions. Stop magnifying the lack. Begin instead to work within your own mind. Begin to see yourself prosperous, successful, joyous. Begin to give thanks for wealth even if you do not yet see it. Begin to affirm with conviction, I am divinely guided, prospered, and supplied in all my ways." He obeyed. Each night he entered the silence, quieted his mind, and visualized large sums of money flowing into his hands. He imagined paying his bills joyously, investing wisely, helping others generously. He felt the thrill of abundance as real in his subconscious. Within 6 months, contracts appeared, opportunities multiplied, and his business flourished beyond expectation. What changed? Not the world outside, but the world inside. He shifted from fear to faith, from doubt to vision, from struggle to acceptance, and as within, so without. Carl Jung wrote that the psyche is the greatest of all cosmic wonders and the sine qua non of the world as an object. He recognized that our inner world creates our outer world, that the images of the psyche shape the circumstances of life. What psychology observed, Scripture declared long ago, it is done unto you as you believe. Matthew 8:13. Therefore, beloved, learn to walk by faith and not by sight. Do not judge your prosperity by appearances. Appearances are shadows. The true substance is in your mind. If you see lack in the outer world but wealth in your inner vision, hold fast to the inner vision and the outer world must conform. Let me give you a practice. Each night before sleep, close your eyes and imagine the life you desire as though it were already true. See yourself surrounded by abundance. Checks arriving in the mail, opportunities opening, wealth flowing, love abounding, health radiant. Feel the joy of it. Whisper softly, "Thank you, Father, for this, my divine inheritance." Drift into sleep in that feeling, and your subconscious will take it as a command. Florence Scovel Shinn would often speak of the law of substitution. She taught that when fear thoughts arise, you must replace them instantly with words of truth. If you think, "I cannot pay this bill," immediately affirm, "God is my instant, endless supply. This bill is paid in divine order." If you think, "I am not worthy," replace it with, "I am a child of the infinite. I inherit all riches." Thus, you train your mind to dwell on truth, and the truth sets you free. Do not fight your fears. Replace them. Do not resist the negative. Affirm the positive. Non-resistance is the secret. When you resist poverty with fear and struggle, you give it power. When you calmly affirm abundance, you dissolve poverty's illusion. As Paul wrote, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. 2 Corinthians chapters 10:4. The strongholds are fear, doubt, limitation. The mighty weapons are faith, affirmation, imagination, love. Let your words be creative instruments. Declare aloud each day, "I walk in divine abundance. I am surrounded by wealth. Opportunities flow to me in perfect order. I give thanks for the riches of the universe which pour into my life now." Speak these words not mechanically, but with feeling, with conviction, as if they were already true. For indeed they are true in the unseen realm, and soon they shall be true in the seen. Beloved, wealth is not something you pursue, it is something you allow. The harder you chase it, the more it flees. But when you rest in faith, when you assume wealth as natural, when you walk in gratitude as though it were already yours, then wealth comes unbidden, like a friend returning home. Remember the words of Jesus, "When ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Mark 11:24. Believe you receive. That is the essence of faith. Not tomorrow, not next year, but now. Therefore, cease worrying about tomorrow. Cease fretting about how the wealth will come. Leave the means to infinite intelligence. Your part is to assume, to believe, to feel, to give thanks. The how is God's business. The when is divine timing. Your task is only to accept, to know, to rest in faith. When the farmer plants the seed, he does not demand to know how the soil transforms it into harvest. He trusts the law. So too, trust the law of your subconscious. Plant the seed of wealth consciousness and trust the law to bring the harvest. Do not say, "It is too late. I am too old. My chance has passed." These are lies of the limited mind. Abraham was 99 when God told him he would be the father of many nations. Sarah laughed, yet she conceived. The power of God does not wither with age. Infinite supply knows no limitation of time. The only limitation is belief. If you believe you are too old, you close the door. If you believe all things are possible, the door swings wide. With God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. And God is within you. Therefore, this very moment, begin to walk in faith. Begin to see yourself as the wealthy, prosperous, radiant being you truly are. Begin to feel it, affirm it, give thanks for it. Let faith be your atmosphere and abundance your daily bread. And hear these words echo in your soul. I live by faith in the infinite riches of my subconscious mind. I am prosperous, successful, joyous, and free. Wealth flows to me freely, endlessly, and in perfect divine order. I am a channel of God's abundance, and I rejoice in the good now made manifest. This is the truth, and the truth cannot fail. Walk in it, and you will see wonders beyond your imagination. Imagination is the creative faculty of the divine operating in man. It is the Christ within you, the power to see that which is not yet visible, to call forth that which is not yet formed, to shape the invisible substance of spirit into visible form. Beloved, do not limit your imagination to what seems possible. Imagination transcends logic, surpasses reason, outshines calculation. Imagination is the creative voice of God. Dream boldly. See yourself rich, joyous, radiant, fulfilled. See yourself blessing others with your wealth, contributing to humanity, advancing divine good. When doubts arise, as they will, do not dwell upon them. Replace them instantly with your vision. If the picture of lack appears, erase it with the picture of abundance. If the image of failure intrudes, replace it with the image of success. Train your imagination as you would a horse until it obeys your command. Remember the words of Paul, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Cast down the false imaginations of lack and limitation and exalt the true imagination of abundance and supply. Florence Scovel Shinn would tell her students, your word is your wand. I say to you, your imagination is your wand and your word directs it. Together they form the creative partnership of spirit and matter. Therefore say often to yourself, I imagine only that which is lovely, noble, prosperous, and divine. I see myself living in abundance, surrounded by wealth, guided in all my ways. My imagination is God in action, and it creates my glorious, prosperous life. Let these words sink deep. Speak them with joy, with expectancy. Let your imagination be a sanctuary of light, not a dungeon of fear. And never forget that imagination is not confined to money alone. Use it for health, for love, for harmony, for guidance. Imagine yourself whole, strong, radiant, filled with vitality. Imagine yourself surrounded by love, embraced in perfect companionship. Imagine yourself guided by infinite wisdom, knowing what to do and when to do it. For the law is one. As you imagine, so you become. As you believe, so it is done. And now, beloved, close your eyes and let this affirmation echo in your soul. I live in the joyous power of divine imagination. I see myself wealthy, healthy, radiant, and free. My subconscious accepts my vision, and my world reflects it in perfect order. The Christ within me imagines only good, and that good manifests now. This is the truth of your being. Hold to it, dwell in it, rejoice in it, and you will see the glory of God made manifest in your life. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you radiate. The more you grasp, the more it slips away. The more you fear, the more it eludes you. But the moment you let go of fear and rest in the assurance of divine supply, wealth flows to you as naturally as the tide flows to the shore. This is the sacred law of non-resistance. Jesus said, resist not evil. Matthew 5:39. He did not mean that you should accept injustice or tolerate wrong. He meant that you must not waste your energy fighting shadows. Poverty, lack, limitation, these are shadows. They have no power of their own. They are sustained only by your resistance, your fear, your belief in them. When you cease resisting and begin affirming the truth, the shadow dissolves. Imagine standing in a dark room, waving your arms, wrestling against the darkness. You will exhaust yourself, yet the darkness remains. But the instant you light a candle, the darkness vanishes of itself. So it is with lack. Do not fight it, replace it with the light of truth, affirm abundance, give thanks for supply, and the shadow of poverty dissolves. Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded her students, do not waste your time fighting conditions. When you fight hard against a thing, you give it power. Bless it, forgive it, and affirm the truth of God's abundance. She told a story of a woman who struggled endlessly with debts. The more she fought them, the more they multiplied. Finally, she learned to say, I see these bills paid in full. I rejoice in divine supply. Soon, unexpected income arrived and her debts were cleared. She won by non-resistance. Beloved, remember this. The universe moves by harmony. The law of wealth is the law of flow. Money is like blood in the body. It must circulate freely, joyously. If you hoard it in fear, it stagnates. If you release it in love, it returns multiplied. Give freely, joyously, wisely, and you set in motion the divine circulation of riches. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Luke 6:38. This is not mere poetry, it is law. When you give with love, you open channels for wealth to flow back into your life. The miser who clutches in fear closes his channel and experiences stagnation. The generous soul who gives in faith experiences multiplication. Do not say, I cannot give until I have more. Begin where you are. Give a smile, a kind word, a helping hand. Give a portion of your income, however small, with joy and thanksgiving. Give to that which uplifts, inspires, blesses humanity. In doing so, you declare, I trust the law of supply. I live in the flow of abundance. Neville Goddard taught that to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the surest way to manifestation. I tell you, assume now the feeling of one who has more than enough. Walk as though you were rich already. Give thanks as though the supply were overflowing. Smile as though your cup were running over. This attitude magnetizes supply. Napoleon Hill observed that many men failed because they lived in fear of poverty. He warned, the fear of poverty is one of the most destructive fears. Why? Because fear of poverty is faith in poverty. Whatever you fear, you attract, for fear is faith inverted. When you fear lack, you are affirming in your subconscious, I believe in lack. And what you believe in, you experience. Therefore, release fear. Replace it with faith. Replace it with the joyous conviction that the infinite knows your needs and supplies them abundantly. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:32. Carl Jung understood that when we cling to control, we block the deeper currents of the psyche. He spoke of surrender to the self, the greater archetype of wholeness. In truth, surrender is non-resistance. It is letting go of fear, control, struggle, and yielding to the divine flow. Beloved, do not strain, do not struggle, relax, believe, give thanks. Say within, I rest in the flow of divine supply. Money comes to me freely, joyously, endlessly. I give freely, and I receive abundantly. I live in the circulation of God's wealth, and I rejoice in it. Practice this attitude, and you will find doors opening, opportunities appearing, channels of supply multiplying. For wealth is not forced, it is allowed. It is not pursued, it is welcomed. Let me tell you of a man who once came to me in great despair. He was in debt, pursued by creditors, fearful of losing all. He confessed, Dr. Murphy, I pray, I affirm, yet nothing changes. I asked him, what do you feel when you pray? He admitted, I feel fear, I feel desperation, I feel lack. I said, that is why nothing changes. Your words affirm abundance, but your feeling affirms lack. Your subconscious accepts the feeling, not the words. Begin anew. Stop begging. Stop struggling. Enter the sile. Hence, breathe deeply and imagine yourself free. See every debt paid. Feel the relief, the joy, the thanksgiving. Walk in that feeling daily. He obeyed. Within weeks, new income came, debts were settled, and peace was restored. Why? Because he stopped resisting lack and began embracing abundance. He aligned his feeling with his prayer. Beloved, the key is always the same. Align your thought, your feeling, your imagination with the truth of abundance. Rest in it, rejoice in it, and it must appear. Now hear me. Wealth manifestation is not greed. It is not selfishness. It is the natural expression of God's abundance through you. When you prosper, you bless others. When you are free of lack, you can give more, serve more, uplift more. Poverty helps no one. Prosperity uplifts all. Remember the words of Deuteronomy, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18. Wealth is divine power flowing through you for good. Therefore claim it boldly, affirm it joyously, visualize it clearly, feel it deeply, give thanks for it continually, live as if it were already yours and soon it shall be. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart but doubt and fear. Remove doubt and fear, and you stand in the open flow of God's abundance. So now, beloved soul, I invite you to deepen your walk in truth. Continue to listen to these sacred teachings. Continue to dwell in the atmosphere of abundance. Continue to renew your mind with divine law. And if these truths are awakening something in you, if they are stirring faith, courage, and vision in your heart, then I invite you now, subscribe to this channel, share this message, and like this video so that more souls may be lifted into the consciousness of abundance. For when we lift one another, we lift the whole world. And let this affirmation seal itself in your heart as eternal truth. I am a channel of divine supply. I resist nothing. I rejoice in everything. I live in the joyous circulation of God's wealth. My needs are met, my cup overflows, and I bless the world with the riches of the infinite. This is the truth, this is the law, and this, beloved, is your destiny. Beloved, health and wealth are not separate streams. They flow from the same fountain. The same divine law that governs abundance also governs healing. The same subconscious power that multiplies money also renews tissue, restores balance, and harmonizes the body. Your body is the outer picture of your inner beliefs. Every cell, every organ, every nerve is shaped by the patterns impressed upon your subconscious mind. When you fill the mind with harmony, faith, peace, and love, the body reflects health, vitality, and strength. When you fill the mind with fear, resentment, worry, and despair, the body reflects weakness, illness, and disorder. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. The heart, the subconscious, is the builder of the body. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, "Man's word is his wand filled with magic and power." She reminded her students that careless words and destructive thoughts plant seeds of illness in the subconscious. The constant repetition of "I am tired," "I am sick," "I fear disease," and these words return in the form of weakness and affliction. But affirmations of life, health, and divine order plant seeds of healing and strength. I once knew a woman who suffered from crippling arthritis. For years she declared, "This is my cross, I must bear it." She identified herself with the illness, and so her subconscious accepted it as truth. I instructed her to change her inner language. I told her to affirm daily, "I am whole, I am strong. The life of God flows through me now, renewing every joint, every cell, every fiber. I walk in perfect freedom." She visualized herself climbing stairs with ease, walking joyously in a garden. Slowly, the pattern of illness dissolved, and she walked free. Do you see, beloved, the body is clay, the mind is the potter. The subconscious shapes the body according to the mold of belief. Change the belief, and the body must change. Neville Goddard reminded us that imagination is the Christ within. To heal, therefore, is to imagine yourself whole, to see yourself in the mirror of the mind as vibrant, radiant, filled with life. When that inner picture is accepted, the subconscious sets in motion processes of healing that medical science cannot fully explain, yet cannot deny. Napoleon Hill observed that many a man's fortune was destroyed by worry. Worry is a form of fear, and fear paralyzes both mind and body. He urged his readers to replace worry with faith, to dwell on definite aims, to focus the mind on constructive images. This, too, is the key to health. Replace fear with faith. Replace worry with thanksgiving. Replace sickness with visions of health. Carl Jung, exploring the depths of the psyche, observed that the unconscious contains both destructive complexes and healing archetypes. He knew that within the deeper mind is a physician greater than any human doctor. This inner healer is none other than the divine wisdom of your subconscious, which knows how to knit bones, close wounds, restore balance, and renew life. Therefore, when you pray for healing, do not beg or plead. Declare with faith, "The healing presence of God is flowing through me now. Every cell responds. Every organ sings with life. I am whole. I am free. I am strong." Jesus said to the woman who touched the hem of his garment, "Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole." Mark 5:34. Notice, it was not the garment, not the touch, but her faith, her inner conviction, her mental acceptance of healing that made her whole. So too with you. Beloved, healing is always present. Health is the natural state of the body. Illness is not truth. It is a temperament, redistortion of truth. Just as clouds cannot erase the sun, sickness cannot erase health. Health is the eternal reality, sickness the passing shadow. When you turn your mind to the light of health, the shadow vanishes. Let me give you a practice. Each night before sleep, place your hand upon your heart and say softly, "The life of God flows through me now. I sleep in peace. My subconscious restores me. I awake renewed, whole, and strong." Drift into sleep with that feeling, and your subconscious will carry it out. Now let us turn to divine timing. Many souls grow impatient. They affirm abundance. They visualize healing. Yet when results do not appear instantly, they despair. But beloved, just as the farmer does not expect the harvest the day after planting, so you must not demand instant manifestation. All things unfold in divine order at the right season in perfect timing. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Habakkuk 2:3. The subconscious works in silence, in hidden ways. While you sleep, while you wait, it arranges circumstances, inspires ideas, opens doors. Just because you do not see the roots growing beneath the soil does not mean the seed is not alive. Trust the process. Florence Scovel Shinn loved to say, "Infinite Spirit is never too late. God's delays are not denials." What seems like delay is often preparation, the aligning of circumstances, the clearing away of obstacles, the perfecting of your own readiness. Neville Goddard taught that persistence is the secret. He said, "Persist in the assumption that your desire is fulfilled and it will harden into fact. Even if appearances contradict you, persist. Even if the outer world says no, persist. Hold to the vision until it becomes reality." Beloved, never be discouraged. Divine timing is never wrong. That which you have planted in faith will appear in the church. Right season. Your task is to believe, to persist, to give thanks. Napoleon Hill called this persistence the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. He saw that many fail because they quit just before the miracle appears. They dig for gold, find nothing, and walk away. Though just 3 feet deeper, the vein awaited. So too, many abandon their vision when manifestation is near. Persist, beloved, persist until the vision blossoms. Carl Jung once said, "The right way to wholeness is made up of fateful detours and wrong turnings." Do not despair when the path seems winding. The subconscious guides in mysterious ways. Trust that even detours are part of divine timing. Therefore, rest, trust, rejoice. Say within yourself, "I walk in divine timing. Every step is ordered by God. What is mine comes to me in perfect season, by perfect means, in perfect ways. I do not hurry, I do not worry. I rest in faith and rejoice in fulfillment." And now, beloved, let us speak of miracles. The miracle is not the violation of law, but the fulfillment of higher law. What men call miracle is simply the subconscious bringing forth results that the conscious mind cannot explain. When Moses stretched his rod over the Red Sea, when Jesus multiplied loaves, when the blind received sight, these were not suspensions of divine law, and they were demonstrations of it. The subconscious, guided by faith, opens channels of infinite intelligence that transcend human limitation. Miracles are natural. Miracles are normal. They are the birthright of every soul who believes. When you align your thought and feeling with truth, you open the door to miracles. I recall a man who lay near death in a hospital. Doctors gave no hope, but his wife, a woman of deep faith, refused to accept the verdict. She sat by his bed and whispered daily, "The life of God flows through you now. You shall live and not die." She saw him walking, laughing, strong, slowly, against all medical expectation. He recovered. He lived another 20 years in health. Was this a miracle? To the doctors, yes. To the law of the subconscious, it was natural. Beloved, expect miracles. Affirm daily, "Miracles follow me wherever I go. I live in the atmosphere of the miraculous. My subconscious reveals perfect health, perfect wealth, perfect harmony now." The subconscious mind knows how to solve every problem, heal every wound, open every door. When reason fails, turn to the subconscious. When effort fails, turn to faith. When fear shouts, turn to truth. For the miracle is not outside you, it is within you. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you. The same spirit that inspired prophets and saints lives in you. The same intelligence that guides the stars and seasons governs your affairs. Therefore fear nothing, resist nothing, doubt nothing, trust everything to the infinite within you. And let this affirmation be planted now in the soil of your heart. The healing power of God flows through me now. The miracle-working presence of my subconscious mind restores me. I live in divine timing, guided in all ways. Wealth, health, joy, and love are mine now, and I rejoice in the miracles unfolding before my eyes. This is the truth. This is the law. This is your destiny. Beloved, wealth is not in things, nor in coins, nor in paper. Wealth is in consciousness. Until you awaken to this eternal fact, you may chase shadows, but the substance will elude you. The rich man with a poverty mind is still poor, for he lives in fear of loss. The man with nothing yet, filled with the consciousness of abundance, is already rich, for he carries the substance of wealth in his heart. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. The heart is the subconscious mind. If you wish to be wealthy, you must first think wealth, feel wealth, live wealth within. Exter. Now possessions are only mirrors of internal states. Change your state of consciousness, and the mirror must change. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Your supply is inexhaustible and unfailing when your faith is in God, the giver of all." She saw that true prosperity is a state of faith, a conviction that the source never fails. When you stand in that conviction, circumstances must align, doors must open, supply must appear. Many look at their bank account and say, "I am poor." But this is a lie. Your bank account is a reflection of yesterday's beliefs. Your wealth today is your state of mind. If you hold fast to wealth consciousness, your outer affairs will rearrange accordingly. Do not identify with limitation. Do not call yourself poor. Say within, "I am rich now, for I live in the infinite riches of my subconscious mind." Neville Goddard taught that you must assume the feeling of wealth now. Do not wait until riches appear. Embody the state now. If you had infinite supply, how would you walk? How would you speak? How would you give? Begin to live in that state, and life mirrors it back to you. Napoleon Hill discovered the same law when he wrote, "Riches begin with a state of mind, with definiteness of purpose, with little or no hard work. The toiling man who labors without wealth consciousness remains bound to struggle. The inspired man who sees clearly, feels richly, and acts with faith draws opportunities, helpers, and abundance to himself." Carl Jung would say that wealth is an archetype of wholeness deeply rooted in the collective psyche. If you fear money, resent money, or condemn money, you repress this archetype and project it onto others. But when you reconcile with money, when you see it as energy, as flow, as divine circulation, you integrate it into your own psyche. Then you experience it not as enemy, but as friend, not as tyrant, but as servant. Beloved, money is good. Money is God in action when used rightly. Money is freedom to serve, to create, to bless, never calm. Oh, money evil. It is love of money, fear of losing it, worship of it as an idol that binds the soul. But love of God, love of truth, love of service, these direct money into rightful channels. Hear the words of Deuteronomy, "The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season." Deuteronomy 28:12. Treasure is not withheld, it is ever present. Your task is to accept it, to claim it, to embody it. Florence Scovel Shinn often told of those who broke through poverty by changing their inner speech. A woman once said daily, "God is my unfailing supply, and large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, under grace." Soon her affairs shifted, and she received wealth beyond her expectation. Why? Because her words impressed her subconscious. She spoke not of lack, but of supply. She tuned her inner frequency to abundance, and the outer tuned itself to match. Beloved, every thought is a seed. Sow seeds of wealth in your subconscious. Affirm, "I am one with infinite riches. Money flows to me freely. Opportunities appear before me. I am a magnet for divine supply." Repeat these affirmations until they sink into your heart. Then live as though they are true, and the harvest must appear. The world says, work harder. Spirit says, think higher. The world says, compete. Spirit says, create. The world says, struggle. Spirit says, flow. Prosperity is not gained by toil alone, but by inner alignment with divine law. Neville Goddard's method is imagination. Napoleon Hill's method is definite purpose. Florence Shinn's method is the spoken word. Jung's method is integration of the shadow and reconciliation with archetypes. Yet all are one. They point to the same truth. Wealth is consciousness. Therefore, Ask yourself daily, what am I conscious of? Am I conscious of lack, of fear, of debts? Or am I conscious of abundance, of freedom, of supply? For as you are conscious, so shall you live. I recall a man who for years struggled with money. He worked long hours yet remained in debt. He confessed to me that every time he paid a bill, he muttered, "This is draining me. I never have enough." I instructed him to change his inner speech. Each time he paid a bill, I told him to say, "I give thanks that my wealth is circulating freely. I rejoice that these bills are paid. Money flows back to me multiplied." Within months, his whole atmosphere changed. He received promotions, gifts, and new channels of income. Why? Because he stopped affirming loss and began affirming circulation. Beloved, wealth is circulation. Just as the blood must flow in the body, so money must flow in your affairs. Hoarding in fear blocks the stream. Giving in joy keeps it alive. Remember the words of Jesus, "Freely ye have received, freely give." Matthew 10:8. Giving is the key to receiving. The more you give with love, the more the universe pours back into your lap. Let us rise higher now into the spiritual psychology of wealth. Wealth is more than money. It is harmony of mind. The poor man may win a lottery and soon return to poverty because his inner consciousness is unchanged. The rich man may lose all yet soon regain it because his inner consciousness remains intact. The outer world rearranges itself to match the inner pattern. Carl Jung would call this the individuation process, becoming whole within, integrating the opposites, reconciling with your own shadow. Wealth consciousness requires that you reconcile with money, forgive yourself for past mistakes, release resentment toward the rich, and claim your rightful inheritance. Beloved, release envy, release resentment, bless those who prosper. Say, "I rejoice in the success of others. Their wealth does not take from mine. All that is theirs is proof that abundance is possible for me too." In doing so, you align with the sea current of supply. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Man cannot receive what he denies himself." If you secretly resent wealth, if you secretly fear success, you deny yourself prosperity. Open the gates, rejoice in wealth wherever you see it, claim it for yourself. Give thanks that God is showing you what is possible. Napoleon Hill taught that riches are attracted by a burning desire, a definite aim, and unwavering faith. Beloved, do not drift. Do not say vaguely, "I want more money." Be definite. State clearly, "I desire wealth to bless my family, to give freely, to live abundantly, to serve humanity." Write it down, visualize it, feel it, act as if it were already yours. This definiteness of purpose directs the subconscious like a laser beam, focusing its infinite power. Neville Goddard urged his students to live from the end. He said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. To live from the end is to walk as though already rich, already free, already fulfilled." The subconscious knows no difference between reality and imagination. What you feel deeply, it accepts as fact and brings forth into expression. Beloved, wealth is nearer than you think. The only barrier is your belief. All things are possible to him that believeth. Mark 9:23. Therefore, let this affirmation be planted now within your heart. I am one with the infinite riches of the subconscious. Wealth flows to me freely, endlessly, joyously. I think wealth, I feel wealth, I live wealth. Every day, in every way, I grow richer in wisdom, richer in love, richer in supply. I am prosperous now. This is the truth. This is the law. This is your destiny. Beloved soul, you have walked with me through the mysteries of the subconscious, through the laws of faith, visualization, non-resistance, and divine timing. You have seen how health and wealth spring not from outer conditions, but from inner conviction. Now let us ascend the highest peak, the consciousness of eternal abundance. This consciousness is not merely the possession of things. It is not confined to coins or houses or lands. It is the realization that you live in the infinite treasury of God. You are heir to the kingdom. All things are yours, and ye are Christ's, and Christ is God's. 1 Corinthians 3:21-23. Wealth consciousness is the recognition that wherever you are, God is, and wherever God is, there is infinite supply. When this truth dawns upon you, fear vanishes, doubt dissolves, struggle ends. You live in effortless abundance, for you know that the source is within you, never failing, ever giving, eternally present. Florence Scovel Shinn proclaimed, "No man is a success in business unless he loves his work." Prosperity flows where joy flows. If you labor in resentment, you block supply. If you work with love, you open channels of inspiration and favor. She often reminded her students that success is not drudgery, but delight, not toil, but flow. Love your work, bless your work, and your work will bless you with riches. Neville Goddard declared that imagination is the only reality. To live richly, therefore, is to imagine richly. When you see yourself in joy, in freedom, in opulence, the subconscious accepts it as fact and rearranges the outer world to match. Your imagination is the womb of creation. What you conceive within, you will birth without. Napoleon Hill taught that riches respond to a definite aim, a burning desire, and faith unshaken by defeat. He told of men who rose from poverty to wealth by holding fast to their vision when all evidence contradicted them. He proved that riches are not accidents but results of mental law. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Carl Jung pointed us to individuation, the integration of the conscious with the unconscious. In truth, this integration is the union of reason and intuition, of outer action and inner wisdom. When you are whole within, you no longer project lack onto the world. You embody wholeness, and the world reflects it back in wealth, love, and harmony. Beloved, the higher law of wealth is this: you are not here to beg, you are not here to scrape, you are not here to strive in fear, you are here to express the fullness of God. You are here to live richly, to give freely, to serve joyously. Poverty is not holiness, abundance is holiness rightly understood. Lack is not humility, prosperity is humility rightly lived, for it acknowledges God as the source of all. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, Luke 12:32. Not someday, not after long struggle, not in another life, but now. The kingdom of abundance is within you now. Consider the lilies of the field. They toil not, neither do they spin. Yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Matthew 6:28-29. The lily does not strain to grow. It simply opens to the sun and draws from the soil. So too with you. Stop straining, open to the light of truth, draw from the soil of your subconscious, trust the divine process, prosper as naturally as a flower in spring. Beloved, wealth is not outside you, it is the divine idea of supply within your subconscious, waiting to be claimed. The moment you affirm it, imagine it, feel it, and accept it, it begins to manifest. Therefore, speak now these words. I am one with God's infinite riches. The river of abundance flows through me, to me, around me. I am prosperous. I am free. I am blessed. I am a blessing. My needs are met before I ask. My supply overflows. My cup runneth over. This is not wishful thinking. It is divine law. Your subconscious accepts what you affirm with faith and feeling. Repeat these words until they sink deep, until they burn as conviction, until they shine as knowing. Florence Scovel Shinn told her students, there is no supply apart from God. All supply is spirit and cannot fail. She saw that when people depend on jobs, markets, or men alone, they bind themselves to limitation. But when they depend on God as the source, channels of supply open from directions unexpected, in ways unimagined. Neville Goddard would remind you to see yourself already at the banquet table, already clothed in abundance, already living the wish fulfilled, for to assume the state is to create it. Napoleon Hill would remind you to act, to move forward, to seize opportunities with courage and faith, for faith without action is a dream, but faith with action is destiny. Carl Jung would remind you that by reconciling with money, by removing guilt, fear, and shadow, you become whole. Then money ceases to be a burden and becomes a channel of joy. Beloved, you are standing now at the door of eternal prosperity consciousness. Step through it. Leave behind the garments of lack, the language of fear, the posture of struggle. Clothe yourself in abundance. Speak the language of wealth. Walk in the posture of freedom. Say to yourself daily, I live in the kingdom now. Every day I grow richer in health, richer in wisdom, richer in supply. God is my unfailing source. I fear nothing. I resist nothing. I doubt nothing. I rejoice in everything. Do this, and you will see miracles. You will see debts dissolved, doors opened, opportunities multiplied, health restored, and joy overflowing. For the law cannot fail. The subconscious cannot fail. God cannot fail. And when you prosper, remember always to bless others. For prosperity is not selfish. It is circulation. The more you give in love, the more you receive in joy. The more you bless, the more you are blessed. The more you uplift, the more you are uplifted. Therefore go forth as a light in the world. Demonstra to by your life that poverty is not truth, that abundance is the law, that prosperity is the will of God for all his children. And let this final affirmation be engraved upon the tablet of your heart. I am a child of the infinite. I live in the ocean of God's abundance. Wealth flows to me, through me, from me endlessly. I am whole, I am free, I am rich in every way. I give thanks that it is so. Beloved, this is the truth, this is the law, this is your eternal destiny. Go forth now, transformed by the renewing of your mind, and live in the infinite riches of God.